Hey, how are you doing? All right. All right. It's Saturday morning. I don't have to work today. We have kicked the hornet's nest, people. I'm going through my comments. And it takes me a couple days, and I usually try to get through all of them. But if, I hadn't looked at these in a couple days, and boy, howdy. The first one I opened to, the very first one, Mr. God Complex. Take a shower. Is that, you want to, I don't know, what are you implying there, buddy? Want me to set some webcams up for you? Looking's free. The touching will cost you. Oh, Lord of mercy. I don't even know where to begin. Most of the comments that I have are in response to the Warhammer videos I did. And one thing I have to say is I am astounded at how many people have obviously not watched the video and yet felt the need to comment based on the thumbnail, apparently. I am sure that happens a lot, as it is the internet. Most people, I call it, what's the term? I call it contempt prior to investigation. They'll see a book and its cover, and they will judge it, and that's fine. We do judge books by our cover. We have discernment. We can decide if something looks interesting or not. But I don't know how you can do a book report if you haven't even looked at the synopsis. I would say, at least watch the video for a minute. I'm usually summarize it pretty quickly. I try to get to my argument relatively quick. If you watch for a minute or two, you can at least get the idea of where I'm going. Because a lot of them, it's just so obvious. I don't even know how to respond to these, because some of them I'm actually agreeing with you. You're arguing with me based off of the thumbnail. You obviously didn't watch. Either you didn't watch it, or you're kind of stupid and unable to grasp concepts. Does that make sense? Don't worry, I'll point them out, just so you guys know who you are specifically. We'll get to you. We're going to have some fun with this video. So right off the bat, I found it really interesting. Every single comment that was detracting to the videos was almost identical across the board. You could tell none of them, not one single one, and I went through all the comments, had actually watched the video. All of them said almost the exact identical thing, so you could mix and match all of the comments and it would have been the same person. You would not know who made what comment. And they're all insults. None of them have an argument. They hope that the changes make us feel bad. They're glad it's happening. And that anyone who doesn't want women in their, anyone who complains about women custodies is anti-whatever. Pick a bigot, Nazi, whatever. I'll point the comments out so you guys can go look at them, and you can see them individually and see that they're all the same. And then that's how I could tell no one watched the video, because that's not what the argument was. Nobody's arguing against women custodies specifically. We have the Stormcast Eternals in Age of Sigmar, which is basically their version of the custodies, essentially. Although the process for creating them is way, way, way different. So you can argue that having a woman kind of breaks the lore a little. There is that, and nobody seems to care. But no, nobody's against that. I think those models are fine. And if it was just, I don't know, if they just wanted to add, the argument I made is that I wouldn't care. I have women, I run Adeptus, Sororitas, I run all women elf squads. I'm painting them right now, as a matter of fact. I have no issues with women in the characters. The argument was the motivation behind the change. And I don't know how to state it any simpler than that. Nobody cares about women characters. We are just suspect of why they decided to make this change and what the motivations behind it are. And then all this other woke stuff comes out, we weren't obviously not paying attention to, because holy crap, there's a ton of it. They've gone off the deep end in the last year, and I haven't been keeping up. One of the guys commented that I obviously I don't actually read the lore. Dude, Black Library's got thousands of books going back to the 80s. I doubt you read the lore that much. You know what I mean? For me to not keep up with the totally most current thing. It's like, who's got the time for that? Like, I'm still reading Soul Hunter, which is it's been out for a minute. That's like the newest one, and that's an awesome book, by the way. That whole series, it's a Night Lords. It totally kicks ass. So if you guys want a good read, I'd definitely get on that one. But no, I mean, nobody's read all of Black Library's books, and you can't say somebody's a fan or isn't a fan based on how many Black Library books they read, because I know people that have been playing this game for decades that have never read a single novel. It's a tabletop game first and foremost. You know that, right? There's nothing to do with the lore, but there's people like me that are into all of it. I think it's all pretty cool. I like the lore. I like the models. I love painting. I like the whole hobby. And seeing that I'm going to be 50 this year and I've been playing since the 80s, I've probably been doing this longer than you've been alive. So there's that to consider too. And yeah, things have changed over the years for sure. Oh man, some of the original lore going back in the 80s it's nothing like it used to be, but it was gradual changes over time, and those changes made sense, and they made the if anything, they built the universe. They made it bigger, and we made it more attractive. And now they're just nope. It's a grim, dark universe where factions fight each other, and they all have a reason to kill each other. And we're like writing stories about, man, I don't know. It's like a Harlequin romance novel. My mom used to get these novels, and they're basically women's smut books. And that's what the new lore reminds me of. I'm reading a Harlequin romance novel. I think it's like, what's grim and dark about it? If that's your thing, dude, look, first of all, no judgment from me. Like, if that's your thing, that's totally cool. But I'm done. We are done with you gaslighting us and making it about what you make the argument about what it's not about. You're saying that it's specifically about that when it's not. And you know it. You know it. We state our arguments pretty clearly. And you guys just refuse to tell the truth. That's what it's about. So we got Brown Mims 2311 says, I hope everyone that has beef with female custodies cries for the rest of their low reading comprehension life. Obviously, he didn't watch the video because nobody's arguing about that. But before you start chucking out words like low or phrases like low reading comprehension, I want you to diagram that sentence and get back to me. Oh man, I like when people try to insinuate that we're not intelligent, and you would then assume that they are presenting themselves as intelligent when they can't even write a declarative sentence. Chase.org 3767 writes, the models that were painted in the color scheme of the trans pride flag look pretty neat. NGL. Also, anyone got any spare bits that they don't want anymore? I see what you did there. Credit given where credit's due. The paint jobs actually do look pretty cool. I have to admit, I do like the color schemes. I've always liked painting with fluorescence and bright colors. So for me to say that it doesn't look good, especially the way how professionally they were painted, I would be a liar. So that's neither here nor there. You paint them, and you're supposed to be able to customize your characters. And to that note, if you want your own lore headcanon and you want to have characters that are like that, trans or whatever, yeah, you absolutely. And like I said, my daughter has female Space Marines in her little squad, and that is absolutely acceptable. That's yours. You can do whatever you want with them. It's when you try to force that change on everybody, that's when it becomes problematic. No, I totally support you having your squads the way you want them, man. Totally, absolutely, 100%. It's supposed to be that way. All right, next comment. Who the heck cares? It's a good username. He responds, the whining from men who can't handle seeing their hobby include, in brackets, not replace, but merely include, more characters that aren't like them is really telling how fragile their egos are. So, again, he didn't obviously watch the video. We just saw the thumbnail and commented. More to that point, a bunch of people liked that comment, so they also didn't watch the video. I wrote 6 people liked this comment. That means 6 people endorsed a comment based on a thumbnail and did not even hear what I had to say. This is what we are up against. It's weaponized, purposeful ignorance. They won't even take the time to listen to what we have to say, but they sure will comment and call us names. This is the gaslighting I'm talking about. So this is what they do. I was very explicit when I said it's not about whether or not they add female characters. I run female armies. I was painting female figurines when the video opened, which you would have seen if you would have actually watched the 20 seconds of it. But when we talk about what the actual issue is, which is the motivation behind the change, like why are they doing this now, when it's so clearly it has to do with diversity funding, the whole thing that they've been doing to all the IPs. I made the argument. They make it about, no, you just don't like women. You don't want women in your spaces. So that's the gaslighting. That is the gaslighting. They won't talk about the big issue. They'll talk about the specifics. Or they'll try to nail it down to, calling you a bigot or a racist or whatever. That's what they do. That's how they always shut the conversation down. And then, and it gets a lot of us because you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, well, I'm not... Dude, you didn't even watch the video. And if you did, you're a lying piece of crap. That's all I got to say. Simple. All right, here's another comment from Epic Thulu. Seems like you had no idea that Warhammer had same-sex couples since 2004, even a transgender battle sister. But then again, the people who are calling Warhammer woke have no knowledge of this setting beyond YouTube videos. See, that's a commonly leveraged accusation. Like, oh, if you didn't know every single book that's come out in Black Library, you're not a real fan. Well, first of all, it's a tabletop game, so you don't really technically need to read any of the lore to play the game. And, that's, I don't know, that's just yeah, I had to go look it up, and you're right. And the same author, the guy that writes for Star Trek, wrote that nonsense, and you've seen what he did to Star Trek. Makes sense. He's a very woke, liberal author, and it's one of their worst-selling books. Did you know that? Go figure. Oh, it's interesting. But here again, all these comments, they're arguing that they're just saying you're anti or against or have a problem with. No. They're missing the argument. The argument is not that they made the change. It's why they made the change. Nobody will talk about that. This is how they deflect. This is how they gaslight. They won't talk about the motivations. They talk about, they bring it to the specifics and then use that as a cudgel to beat us over the head with, call us names and stuff. They don't know anything about us. The thing about me, he has no idea about my personal life or what my actual beliefs are. But that's not the argument I made. Like, obviously didn't watch the video. All these they're basically the same comment over and over and over again. And if I respond to all of them, I'm just repeating myself ad nauseum. They didn't watch the video. They're not talking about the actual argument, and they're calling us names. They're being rude. I don't know, is that what an NPC is? A non-player character where they're all like they're running the exact same program and you can almost predict what they're going to say before you even read their comment? Like, I just know before I read any of these derogatory comments or statements afterwards, I know what they're going to say before I even read it. That's how predictable they are. It's the same tired nonsense over and over again, and that's how they win. We don't say anything. Nobody wants to defend themselves against this nonsense. So we just back off and just let it go, and then they take over. But here's the thing. It's like, one thing I did kind of pose to them is like, well, how do you see it turning out? So you get your way, and you go full woke, just like Netflix has, just like Star Wars, just like Halo, just like, pick an IP. All of them have tanked. They're all hemorrhaging money. No, they're not making money. Like, Amazon is supporting like Lord of the Rings and all that. Like, they're hemorrhaging money. And then after it tanks, like, what's your end game? Like, since you're obviously not making, name a company that's made money from this stuff. Name one. I don't know. Is there a successful company that has went in there, changed an IP, done this to it, and profited from it? I've seen no evidence of it, but what I have seen is comic book stores are going out of business. Nobody's buying, nobody's going to movies anymore. Marvel just spent one of the highest budgets to make, the Marvels. They spent $300 million on that movie, and did they even get a return of $100 million? Nobody's going to watch this stuff. Like, they're losing money. And as a result, they're going bankrupt. Like, they're not being able to get funding anymore. And they keep doubling down. They just keep doing it over and over again. It's like, well, what do you expect is going to change? Like, we are just not interested in it. I don't know. So you get your way, you kick us out, you get your IP to yourself. It tanks, goes out of business. You ruin it for everybody. Congratulations. Awesome. I mean, I already got my plan. I'm not giving Games Workshop another dime of my money, and I'm going to go with 3D printing. And I got my eye on some other rule sets, and there's already groups of people that are playing online, and then we can just circumvent them altogether, and we can continue doing the hobby as we love to do it. And here's the thing: this is what's awesome about it, is we're still inclusive of everybody. There's nobody that can't participate. You're just not allowed to push your ideology on other people. That's it. That is it. You can run your crap the way you want it. You can live your life the way you want to live it. And we will accept it. And you can be part of it. You're just not allowed to demand that we change to suit you. Does that make sense? We don't demand you change to suit us. You're not allowed to demand we change to suit you. I think that's fair. That seems perfectly reasonable to me. What do you guys think? I don't know. I guess I'm the bigot. Oh, God, I could go nuts reading these comments. I don't know how the bigger channels handle this stuff, man. I'm a little channel, so I can actually read and respond to all the comments. And, oh, man. It's like, I read a comment and I explain myself. And once I feel like I've sufficiently explained myself, and I'm like, yeah, he gets the point. I go to the next comment, it's the exact same one. Oh, bam, it's like banging your head against the wall, and none of them have read each other's comments, so it's just one after another. It's like, and I just have to explain myself over and over and over again. No, you're missing the point. It's not about adding women. It's about, no, you're missing the point. It's not about adding women. It's about, oh, you're missing the point. No, it's, oh my God. And they're the same. They're all the same. All of them are the same. Not one of them has watched a video or listened to a word I've said. They just drive by to drop their deuce all over the comments section and then move on. Oh man, I don't know. I got a bunch more, but I'm just gonna say the same thing over and over again. So let's get back into the purpose of this channel, which is lifting. October, WRPF Nationals, Tommy H. You're gonna lift there, and he's saying that Cephas is gonna join you. I am down, boys. I'm going to make it happen. October, I think that's far enough out where I could put something together. And I'm going to lift with you guys. Hell yes. And then by then, hopefully everything will... I've never planned for a competition that far out. It seems like I keep doing these short turnarounds where they're 3 months in between. Man, how do I program for that far out? Like, what do? Do I pick a meet in between then and just how do you guys train for that big of a block? I don't know. That's interesting. Because, you can't like lift heavy all the time. There's got to be cycles where you let your body heal. And I think right now that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just sort of farting around. I'm lifting heavy enough where I don't lose any strength, but I'm not beating my body up. I want to get back into it so badly. I'm just itching. Like right now, I'm just farting around. How do you guys, when you guys that compete, tell me how you prep for something that far out. I would love to hear your strategy or whatever programs you guys use. Tommy, I know you guys use like a conjugate system. I don't have the equipment for that. Although I did just get a gym membership, and I still have yet to use it. I'm paying like $100 a month for me and my wife, and we have not stepped foot on that property. And there's gyms all over Vegas. So, any of you boys that are in Vegas and want to start training together, don't want to come to my house, we can meet up at one of these gyms. They're all over town. They're on the east, north, west, all sides. They're everywhere. They're in the middle of the city. EOS Fitness. They've got gyms. They got like 15 of them all over the valley, and they're all fairly well equipped. They're not really powerlifting gyms, but they've got a lot of good equipment. And I can use that as perfectly fine to train. So if you guys want to meet up, let me know. Absolutely, 100%. I'm not accustomed to this much negativity in my comments section. I rarely make videos like fitness. Just it's a pretty niche community. Powerlifting, it's like even if I become a super popular powerlifter, and I compete at a very, very high level, I'll never be huge. Warhammer, man, I make one video and I get like it's one of the highest viewed videos I've ever made. And along with that comes the comment section. Whew, I wasn't quite prepared for that, but I will say that the amount of support has been overwhelming. The ratio of good comments to really bad ones is extremely large. Like most of the comments are very supportive. Most of the people are willing to have conversations. Most of them are agreeing with the sentiment. We all have slightly differing opinions on things. But here's the cool thing. Like the people that you consider far right-wing extremists, which is well over 50% of the country, by the way, are just everyday average right of center people that are maybe socially liberal, but grew up in conservative households that are religious, or like we're maybe, I don't know, we're just normal everyday people. We work, we have families, and we're not the abnormal, absurd extremists that you guys are. Like you guys are calling for, you want people to be hurting, you want people to be offended, you want people to be saddened and disheartened. You hope that this stuff bothers us, and you want us to be excluded. You said in some like 4 or 5 of the comments, you want to get rid of people like us. Where we don't want you guys to go anywhere. No, we want everybody. Like I don't care who I'm playing across the table from. I just want the same amount of respect that you're demanding from us. I want you to acknowledge that if it's no big deal, why do we care so much? Well, why did you care so much to make the change? And now that you've got the change, all of a sudden it's no big deal. Well, it was a huge deal before you got the change. You know what I'm saying? So like the gaslighting, the arguments, like be honest. It was a huge deal for you to get your foot in the door, and now you're saying we're a bunch of crybabies. Well, we could have very easily leveraged the exact same argument to you when you were trying to insert yourself into our space to begin with. But I don't really consider it our space. I never thought about our space. Like I don't have a group of people that I adhere to. I'm a free-thinking individual, and I just kind of do my own thing. Now, I might be aligned with certain people and whatever, and we might share similar values, but I don't identify as part of any group. I mean, all are welcome in my circle. You're just not allowed to demand that I change my viewpoints, my ideology, or my beliefs to suit you. You know what I mean? Just like I'm not allowed to force my viewpoints on you, you shouldn't want to do that to me either. And then somewhere, if we treat each other with mutual respect, we can come together. I'll break bread with anybody who's willing to join me in good faith. I ain't no problems with anybody. All are welcome at my table, as long as they come at it with the same amount of respect and dignity that I am going to provide for you. You know what I mean? Treat me as you want to be treated, and I'll treat you as I want to be treated. It's like pretty simple stuff, man. Kindergarten rules, right? Saturday, I tried to wake the old lady up this morning for some loving, and she just rolled over angrily. Get off me. I'm like, ooh, okay. She's not a morning person. I'm going to go try to wake her up, though. Incel Chud is going to try to get some loving from his wife. We'll see how it works out. I love you guys. I will see you on the battlefield.